Hello ladies and gentlemen, Tevaron here, and welcome back to some more Magic Arena gameplay. Today we're going to be looking at another Grixis Midrange deck that's serving as a shell to play Nicol Bolas the Ravager. This one is much more of a blue-black deck that is splashing red just for Bolas and a few sideboard cards. There are several flavors of these Grixis mid-range lists running around at the moment. There's the Dragons type, which we tried last week, this particular flavor, and also a more energy-heavy version running Whirler Virtuoso. I've now played a bit with all of them, and I've liked this particular style the most so far. The blue-black mid-range deck was already decent prior to M19's release, and we still have the shell of that deck intact in this build. The incorporation of Nicol Bolas gives the deck a lot more over-the-top late-game power, and is a great threat relatively early as well. As I said last week, if he resolves, it's almost always a 2-for-1 in your favor, unless the opponent is already empty-handed. The Planeswalker side is absolutely ridiculous as well in the games we manage to flip him, which actually happens a lot more often than you might imagine. Our early game consists of Siphoners and Champions, helping us to dig through our deck and find the appropriate cards to play each turn. Siphoners are a card that we generally only want versus Control in other mid-range decks. It's especially bad versus Chain Whirler. However, the Champions are good versus just about everything. You get its effect when you cast it, instead of having to wait a turn to draw a card, so even if it gets mown down by a Goblin, it's still provided value, and then sits in your graveyard waiting to provide more value. Besides Bolas, our mid to late game consists of more powerful creatures and planeswalkers. Torrential Gearhulk is a massive body that can also 2-for-1 our opponent with its Enter the Battlefield ability. The Scarab God allows us to leverage both our own and our opponent's graveyard to build our army, re-triggering Enters the Battlefield abilities as well, while being very hard to get rid of permanently on its own. And Liliana can flood the board with 2/2s while filling our graveyard with fodder for reanimation shenanigans, which she herself can take part in as well. It's quite rare that her ultimate comes into play, but in the right situations it can be absolutely devastating, and even game-winning. One of my favorite lines of play with this deck is to play out Champion of Wits and discard a Gearhulk, and then a turn or two later play Liliana and buy back Gearhulk, which can be absolutely backbreaking for the opponent. Argyl's Bloodfast is another card that's great versus everything except for aggro, so we hedge with only running one main. Against Control or other mid-range decks, an early Bloodfast will often just bury your opponent. It's actually better than Search for Azcanta in most situations, as it can immediately begin to net you cards. Typically, if your opponent plays turn 2 Search and you play turn 2 Bloodfast, you are going to win. And now we move on to the Answers part of the deck. We're running a few counterspells, Essence Scatter and Commit to Memory, providing efficient answers to creatures, especially ones we can't deal with effectively once they hit the board. And Commit gives us a bit of a hedge versus permanents we can't otherwise answer, while also having the potential to act as a time twister in rare instances. We also have a plethora of actual removal spells. Fatal Push, Cast Down, and Vraska's Contempt help ensure that we have the right spell for any given situation, helping us to keep our opponent's board in check. And Doomfall serves double duty as both removal and discard. Though the mode we will most often use is the discard one, it's nice to have access to untargeted removal in a world where Vinemare exists. Our mana base begins with 6 cycling duels, which allow our other duels to come into play untapped thanks to having basic land types, and can be pitched in the late game to draw more relevant cards if we no longer need to make land drops. Then 9 check or buddy duels, as they are sometimes known, to further fix our mana. Ether Hub for further mana fixing and additional energy production. Playing a Siphoner on 2 with one of our lands being a hub allows us to immediately use its card draw ability on our next upkeep. And then our suite of basics for Swamp, 2 Island, and 1 Mountain. In the sideboard we have Chandra's Defeat to kill red things, Abrade to bring in versus aggro or artifact heavy opponents. Yahini's Expertise gives us a reset switch versus aggressive decks or token strategies. Duress and Doomfall help us out versus Control, with Doomfall also occasionally coming in versus mid-range, depending on what it is exactly that we need to side out against that particular deck. Negate gives us the ability to say no to non-creature spells and Jace's Defeat versus blue decks specifically. and an additional Argyl's Bloodfast for both mid-range and control matchups. In general, if you aren't siding out the Bloodfast you have main, then you should be bringing in the second one. And that, my friends, is the deck list. Let's jam some games. Alrighty, well, I think this hand is keepable. It's just a little slow, so if we're up against something very aggro, it may not be good enough. But I do think it's worth keeping in the dark. Alright, Spire, Bluff, Canal, no first turn play, that's good for us. We'll lead off with our swamp. Can play Drowned Catacomb next turn, or if we draw a Siphoner, we'll play the Ether Hub, that way we can draw a card immediately on our turn. Bolas is a good pick. Do need another land, though. We have 2 turns to hit that. Even if it's not a red source, we can make the red from Ether Hub. Alright, as foretold, looks like we're perhaps up against some sort of combo-y deck. Let's go ahead and Doomfall and see what's going on here. Diabolic Tutor, Counterspells, Chupacabra. I think we would rather get rid of some of these counterspells. Let's see, they only have 1 blue mana right now, so let's take Countervailing Winds. Right, did not hit a blue, so we don't have to worry about the disallow. Dragon Skull Summit's nice. Lets us play our Bolas here without having to spend any energy. And it is almost certainly going to die to a Chupacabra, but it's going to end up being a 2-for-1 for us here, so that's great. Discarded a mountain. Yep, here comes the Chupacabra we knew about. As foretold, starting to get up there on counters. After next turn, they'll be able to cast Disallow for free. Probably should commit that, so that that is not a thing that can happen. So let's tap our Ether Hubs for colorless. Then we will commit the As Foretold. They'll have to start getting counters on it all over again once they cast it. And if they don't hit a second blue, which also putting the As Foretold back in their library there helps prevent, then we will still not have to worry about this disallow. Looks like we're getting hit for 2. Drew another Bolas. That seems good. Let's tap you for colorless and attempt to resolve that. Looks like it's sticking, so another 2-for-1 here. At least. And if it sticks, it could just win us the game. Alright, Dark Intimation. So it is a control deck then. It's just running As Foretold, I guess, for value. We'll pass the turn. Next turn, we will have Gear Hulk mana available. There's the As Foretold. And I'm going to go ahead and hit End Turn. If we had top decked another untapped mana, we could have flipped our Bolas. We did not. So I think we're going to go to combat and attack. We'll hit for 4. Is there anything that we want to Gear Hulk? We could Gear Hulk Memory or the commit side and bounce As Foretold again. I think I would rather just resolve Scarab God at this point, so let's do that. There we go. There's not really anything to be getting with it, but I think that's fine. It represents a lot of value on its own, just with the 5 damage a turn. Opponent is tutoring. Wonder if they're actually going for a blue mana source. That would be interesting. We don't get to see what they tutor for, since it's any card. The only times you have to reveal what you get is if it's a specific card type. That's for paper magic so that you can't cheat. Alright, Scarab God. Let's draw our card. Wondering if we should cast this down so that we can get in for 9. Kind of feel like I'd rather just hold up the Gearhulk to potentially commit whatever they tutored for there. It could have been this island, though, as we suspected. Either way, we're just going to attack. If they decide to block with Chupacabra, that is fodder for Scarab God if we don't need to Gearhulk anything. Right, taking them down to 12, we'll pass the turn. As for told up to 2 counters now, still not able to cast the Disallow with it. Hour of Devastation, that might have been what they tutored for. Let's not let that happen. Blue mana, please. Yep. We want to cast Commit on the Hour, and that should be the game because this is lethal. Just go to attacks, swing with all, and hit. Alrighty, I think we're going to sideboard versus this deck as though it is a control deck. I'm still not completely for sure what they're about, but it seemed like that was what was going on. So we want to bring in our negates, Jace's Defeat, we want Duresses, we want Bloodfast, we may want Doomfall. Let's see what we're going to be taking out. We don't want our Fatal Pushes. I don't think we want our Cast Downs either. Everything else seems sort of reasonable, so I'm just going to shave some stuff. I'm going to shave a single Champion of Wits, and also shave a Nicol Bolas, and hopefully this does okay for us. Alright, this seems like a great hand. We've got turn 2 Siphoner, let's keep it. And with the Ether Hub, we'll actually be able to draw a card with it on our next upkeep if it survives. So we'll lead off with our Fetid Pools. Right, Crypt of the Eternals. Okay, interesting. Not at all familiar with that card. Let's go for Ether Hub. Try to resolve our Siphoner. Looks like it hits. Will it stick? Maybe. It's not dead yet. And that's a good sign. Maybe they'll kill it sorcery speed here. Nope, looks like we get to draw a card. That is awesome. That was a mistake. We still get to draw the card. Once the trigger's on the stack, you have to have something that actually says it can stop the trigger to stop the trigger. So let's play our Swamp. Play out Bloodfast. Bloodfast should also be devastating against our opponent here. Alright, nothing from them. I think we're just going to try to jam Nicol Bolas, so we need to play out our Ether Hub so that we can produce red mana. Let's do that. And even if it gets countered, we can attempt Liliana next turn, and if she resolves, she can bring the Nicol Bolas back. Looks like it is getting countered. Let's hope they don't have another counter spell for Lily. Resolve a Search for Azcanta, so they don't have 2 blue up. Well, at least not 2 blue that allows them to pay 3 mana. So let's play out our island, then we will go for Liliana. Looks like she's sticking. We will minus her, get back Nicol Bolas.
Nothing is ever truly gone.
Opponent discards a Magma Spray. Not that great versus us at this point anyway. I imagine they mainly left it in because of the Siphoners. Well, there's a Chupacabra, that's fine too. I think we do want to play this and not cycle it. We want to get up to 6 mana for our Gearhulk. So let's do that. We'll play out our Scarab God. Go ahead and plus Liliana. Make a Zambi. Looks like we milled another Scarab God and another Nicol Bolas. We could actually minus her next turn and get back a Nicol Bolas if we wanted to. It would deprive us of Liliana, but that may be worth it just depending here. See, they've got 3 in the graveyard, so they can't flip Ascanta this turn. Alright, milled an Hour of Devastation. Well, they don't have the mana to cast it, I imagine. That's why they milled it. Looks like they got the second red now, though. Scarab God, Duress. We do want Duress. We could have set a stop on our upkeep to reanimate something with the Scarab God, if we wanted to. Let's go ahead and Duress, see what's in the opponent's hand. Yeah, get rid of that. Then, I think we're just going to keep ticking Lily up here. Don't want to throw her away.
Minion never hurts.
And we will attack. I could Doomfall to exile this. I don't think that's necessary. Also would rather it just block and die so that we have it in our opponent's graveyard to reanimate. See. Can't really get it to tell me how many cards are in their graveyard here. I think if they mill one, it'll be 6. They didn't mill one. Why are you not... There we go, it's 5. Oh, Nicol Bolas of your own? We're going to say no to that. Let's go ahead and set a stop on our upkeep this time. But we don't get there. Opponent concedes. Alrighty. Again, I think this hand is worth keeping. The Ether Hubs are a little awkward, as we need permanent colored sources, but we've got early Fatal Push, potentially Doomfall, Vraska's Contempt. Let's keep it. This hand is much better versus an aggressive deck than a mid-ranger controlling deck from our opponent, but they are mulliganing to 5, so perhaps we'll be okay. Lead off with our Swamp. Maybe we can get lucky and top deck a Siphoner. Ooh, Divest. Goodbye to Scarab God. Well, there's an Essence Scatter. We can cast it. It will cost us the energy that we have. Alright, looks like opponent is black-white. There's a second Swamp. We'll play that out. Do we want to Doomfall? Sure, let's Doomfall. Let's see what's going on with our opponent here. Ruinous Blast, settle the wreckage. Let's take the settle the wreckage, as they're a lot closer to casting that than the Ruinous Blast. They need 1 extra mana for it and a legendary permanent in play, or a planeswalker. Play out our Swamp. And we do have an answer to things that would turn on the Ruinous Blast, so that's nice. Looks like we're never going to draw a permanent mana source other than Swamp, so guess we should get used to that. Karn, huh? Yeah, we will be contempting Karn.
I am Karn. Well chosen.
You can have a Swamp. Would rather you not have the Scavenger Ground. Let's go ahead and contempt you. And please let us draw some action. I mean, I guess that's sort of action. Let's tap one of you for colorless. That way we can hold up Essence Scatter. And yep, reveal your hand again, please. Bye-bye, Lyra. Guess I could have took the Contempt since we had the Essence Scatter. Maybe that would have been better. Doomfall us. So, wouldn't have been able to counter the Lyra unless they just jammed it. So there's a permanent blue source. Am tempted to just cycle it. Maybe this is wrong, but that's what I'm going to do. Canyon Slough. Let's go ahead and play that one out. So opponent knows our hand right now. There's a Contempt they don't know about. We know our opponent's hand except for that card. Both of us just kind of sitting staring at each other. Oh, that helps. Let's make some blue. See if we can draw some relevant stuff. Yes, please. Ooh, Liliana. Let's discard Fatal Push and Canyon Slough here. And we'll just pass the turn. Maybe we can get them to use this Contempt on our champion. Looks like they're not interested in that. Go to our turn. Luckily, we don't have to worry about counter spells here. I think we're going to go to combat, then post-combat we'll play out Liliana. Seal away, sure. That champion is going bye-bye. Let's tap you for some colorless. Play out Liliana. She's probably going to bite the Vraska's Contempt bullet. But in the meantime, she's going to grab us a Scarab God. And the good thing here is, even if they manage to pull off Ruinous Blast, both of these survive it. Yep, there's the Contempt on Lily. Oh, I was about to mark our upkeep. I guess that's fine. Let's scry that to the bottom. Draw a card. Fatal Push, also not really what we're in the market for. Don't think we're going to attack. Would not like to get this sealed away, so let's just pass the turn. See, what have you got? Nothing really. Have we got anything? We do not. Exile a creature. Alright, guess Scarab God's not really doing anything. Unfortunately. There's a Nicol Bolas, though, so let's make some blue mana. See what we pull from the opponent's hand. The Ruinous Blast, that seems reasonable to me, seeing as how we do have so many legendaries that the Ruinous Blast just doesn't hit. Alright, nothing really forthcoming. Again, I don't want to attack because of Seal Away and Settle the Wreckage, so we're just going to try to flip this guy. Let's see, I don't know why I'm doing this. Let's see, no, we do have a little extra mana, so let's go ahead and transform you, or attempt to. And they concede to that. So it looks like our opponent is on black-white control. So I think we want to get rid of our early removal, like Fatal Pushes and Cast Downs for sure. Think, again, we want the negates, no Jace's defeat this time. Think we want the Duresses. Probably want the second Bloodfast. We may want the Doomfall. We could cut an Essence Scatter, maybe. Yeah, let's cut an Essence Scatter and shave on a Nicol Bolas. And then we'll bring in the Doomfall. And we will submit this. Alrighty, this seems like a good hand. Let's keep it. We get to try and jam turn 2 Siphoner. No Ether Hub this time to turn the Siphoner on, but that should be fine. With our Fetid pulls, now all of our check duels will come into play untapped. They landed a turn 2 Bloodfast. That's probably a bit better than our Glint Sleeve Siphoner. But at least we're going to get to chain Siphoner into Champion of Wits, into Nicol Bolas, into Scarab God, so that seems like a really good curve. Well, they have the Doomfall, though. So what is going bye-bye? The Bolas. Makes sense. Alright, we're going to hedge the Ether Hub. Since they don't know about it, let's play out our second Black Source and go for Champion of Wits. Yes, we would. There's another Bolas. That's awesome. Let's discard an island that they know about. Plus the other Champion of Wits and go attacking. If we can stop them from ever having an opportunity to activate this, then that will kind of nullify it. Plus, I think we're getting a lot more aggressive start than they counted on us having. Lost Legacy, okay. What are you taking? Nicol Bolas, perhaps? At least we have one in hand, so we'll get to draw a card if they do that. They know about the Scarab God, though, so that may be a better call on their part. And they do call the Scarab God. And we get to draw an extra card there. Draw another card. That seems great. So let's go ahead and play out Bolas. Get rid of Karn, we'll go attacking. Hopefully we're not running headfirst into a sweeper here. Well, at least it's not Fumigate, so we have the opportunity to Duress. Let's go ahead and do that. Vraska's Contempts. Alright, we'll take one of those. Almost certainly Bolas is going to be eating the other one. Or not, they let us hit him. And they do have the mana. Maybe they're planning on drawing cards with Bloodfast. They're at 6, though. I don't know about that. Let's go with Champion of Wits. Yes, we would. So we will discard the Slew and the basic Swamp. Play out our Ether Hub. And hopefully they are top decking dead here. Yep, that's what they're doing. Drawing with the Argol's Bloodfast. They can also flip it and ramp their mana a bit. And now the other side will allow them to sack creatures to gain life if they can get some creatures into play, but it looks like they can't. Alrighty. Well, this is a little slow. I think we should probably mulligan this hand. Yeah, let's do that. That's a bit better. Let's keep it. Bolas on top, yes, please and thank you. Need one more mana to be able to cast Bolas, but we've got several turns to draw that. And we're getting an extra draw since our opponent's playing first, so maybe that'll work out for us. Alright, looks like blue-black on their side as well. So if they turn out to be controlled, then our first hand would probably have been better than this one, because Fatal Push is unlikely to be good. Oh, there's a Bloodfast, so we may be facing something of a mirror here. Let's go with Sulphur Falls. Alright, so far only showing black and blue. Let's go for the Swamp. We'll try to resolve a Champion of Wits. Looks like they're going to draw a card. Yes, please. Alrighty, I think we're going to pitch the Fatal Push and one of these Essence Scatters. Champion of Wits of their own. Are you running red in your deck, opponent? Do you also have Nicol Bolas is mainly what I'm asking. Alright, well they do at least appear to have targets for our Fatal Pushes. So let's play that. Let's go to combat first. Looks like they are in the market to block. So I could hold up Essence Scatter here, but I think I'd rather just resolve Nicol Bolas. Alright, discarded a Glimmer. So they seem to be a bit more controlling a build than we are with the Glimmer in their deck. Doomfall. Bye-bye to Bolas. But again, we got a 2-for-1 out of that, so that seems fine. Let's go ahead and cycle this Canyon Slough. Champion of Wits, that's fine. They are stuck on 3. Yeah, I think we're just going to jam Champion of Wits. Again, could have held up Essence Scatter. Let's see. I think I'm going to, again, discard one of these and also discard the Fetid Pools. Would like to still make some land drops as the game goes on. Maybe the opponent will just get stuck on 3 mana forever and we won't have to worry about much. Looks like they are drawing with the Bloodfast and they hit their 4th mana. So almost certainly they do have red in the deck with the Ether Hub there. Let's start by attacking. Get in there, little champion. Alright, let's play our swamp. Do we have anything worth bringing back? Not really. Plus, if we play Champion of Wits, then we can hold up mana for Essence Scatter. Perhaps should have held on to the land before I played the champion. Just in case we drew something and we would rather have discarded the land. Ooh, Torrential's nice. Let's discard the Torrential plus Drowned Catacomb. And Lily can bring Torrential back next turn if need be. Alright, drawing more cards. Opponent's hand is full of cards, which we are going to deal with that Scarab God. So if they can manage to survive to the point to start leveraging all of this stuff that they've drawn, we will be in trouble. So we can't really deal with that. We could Lily into Gearhulk and not really do anything with it, since they don't have a target for like Fatal Push. So let's just go ahead and play her out and we'll tick her up.
Nothing is more loyal than the dead.
Got a memory now. We'll hold on to this to cycle. And pass. Another Scarab God. Alrighty. So I think we're going to bring back Gearhulk and commit the Scarab God. Let's start though by cycling. Alright, there's a land. Yeah, let's do that. Grab our Gearhulk.
I belong to no one.
Go ahead and grab this. Yeah, cast it please. Cast the commit part. Go ahead and play out our Siphoner. And we'll go to combat. And might as well play our land. Alright, flip their Temple. Alright, Torrential Gearhulk. During their draw step there. Cast down our Gearhulk, I guess. So they can block and sack, gaining 6. They're kind of in Abyss mode with the Temple here. Alrighty, Swamp. Let's just start by going to attacks. Yeah, and they have to sack before damage if they want to live, so our zombie will not die. Good deal. Let's see. Yeah, we don't really want to downtick Lily. Let's Eternalize Champion of Wits. Yes, please. Alright, we will discard a swamp and an island. And then we'll tick Lily up.
Death is
And this should be the game here. I don't really see our opponent getting out of this situation. They were just stuck on too few mana for too many turns and couldn't really get into the game. Alright, Lily on of their own, so they can bring back their Gear Hulk.
Good news. I've arrived.
It can flash back the
I brought
Glimmer.
back an old friend.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to get them out of this. We have removal for that Gear Hulk. We have a absolute ton of damage on the board. Alright, getting pushed. So holding up the temple to sack Gear Hulk here. Let's go ahead and Vraska's Contempt that Gear Hulk. And that's the game. Alrighty, so this seems like something of a mirror, though they seem to be a bit more controlling than we're built in the main deck. I think we want Bloodfast for sure. I think we want our negates and our defeats. And we do want some amount of early game removal. So I think we're going to cut one Fatal Push. They did have Siphoners, I think. I think I saw Siphoners. The games are starting to run together at this point. I think we'll cut a Champion of Wits and one Essence Scatter. And also cut one Nicol Bolas. Duress seems okay, but if they're mid-rangey in the way that we are, we probably don't want that. The counterspells seem better. Doomfall is just better overall, since it can hit any non-land card. Yeah, let's do this. Alrighty, well now that we know what our opponent's on, I think this hand is okay. Not great, but definitely worth keeping. Hopefully opponent does not land a Siphoner on turn 2, as that could just run away with the game. Led off with a Catacomb, we will lead off with a Fetid Pool. Right, so their lands are coming into play untapped. Or tapped rather, while ours are coming into play untapped. That helps us a lot. They have something here, we can scatter it. And we will definitely be scattering the Siphoner. Siphoner of our own. So do we Siphoner or do we Doomfall? I'm tempted to just Doomfall. It's more mana efficient. Yeah, let's do that. Alright. Opponent's hand is kind of stacked, but they only have 3 lands. We do 2, though. I think we're going to take the Champion. Since we have removal for the Siphoner, we can just Doomfall and make them sack it. Or exile it, rather. Doomfall of their own. I think they're probably obligated to just take our Doomfall, but no, they take Nicol Bolas. Well, turns out that was a decent play there, since we drew our 4th land. Let's play that. So, I think now we are going to play our Siphoner and hold our Doomfall to deal with whatever creature they play first, which Vraska's Contempt can do that, but I think we do want to be drawing some extra cards. Let's tap the Ether Hub for colorless, please. There we go. Which, maybe that doesn't matter. I think they may know our whole hand. I can't remember. I think we drew the Siphoner this turn, so tapping didn't really matter. Alright, getting cast down. Scarab God. Think we are going to Doomfall. What have you? Essence Scatter, cast down. Scarab God Siphoner. Let's take the Siphoner, since that's the one they can actually cast. Alright, one closer to the Scarab God. Oh, there's another Siphoner for us. Probably let this resolve and just cast it down. Yep, that does indeed seem to be what they're doing. So who can land and stick a Scarab God first? That feels like what this game has come down to. Well, they can certainly go for it. They know we have the Vraska's Contempt, though, so they are not going to. And we need a 5th land pretty badly. Well, there it is. Not coming into play untapped, unfortunately, so not really making use of it this turn. Yeah, there's their Scarab God that we know about. They may have another one in hand at this point, or a negate. Either way, I think we have to try to contempt it. Suspect we're going to get countered here. But they do not have the negate, so maybe it's a second Scarab God. Guess we go for our Scarab God? Or, actually, we know they have the Essence Scatter, so let's just go for Liliana. Yeah, that seems better. Let's tick down and grab a Siphoner.
Love what they've done to the place. Up you get.
That seems a bit better to me. Right, another Scarab God, which is kind of what we suspected. They may have drawn it that turn. And again, I think we have to try. Let's play... Oh, wait. We are still in our draw step. Never mind. There we go. We have to at least try to contempt that. Looks like that's resolving. Awesome. We'll go ahead and tick up Liliana.
Oh, this world is simply brimming with death.
And start the beatdowns. Do have cast down up if they play something that's not legendary. Hopefully, though, this Siphoner is going to absolutely bury them in card advantage. Liliana of their own, we can't stop that. Do you have anything to bring back? You can bring back a Siphoner. I suspect they're just going to tick it up.
As I will conquer you.
Yep, that is the case.
Oh, look what I found.
Alright. We'll go to their instep here, and we'll cast down that zombie. We will draw an extra card, thank you. Ooh, Nicol Bolas is great. Second Nicol Bolas is okay too. Let's go ahead and tick Lily up.
Servitude? Think of it as partnership.
Another champion in the graveyard. Let's play our summit. And I think we're going to attack their Liliana at this point. Actually, maybe the better play there...
Don't get cocky.
I was playing a little quickly. Maybe the better play was to play Nicol Bolas and then reanimate with Lily. That would have gotten rid of our Lily, though, which I'm reluctant to do. Alright, there finally we've given them a target for their Essence Scatter. Next turn we can try to resolve a Bolas from our hand, and if it gets countered we can bring one back from our graveyard and still keep Liliana around. See, they can eternalize their Champion of Wits. Or just cast a Gear Hulk from their hand. Alright, do you have a Contempt? You have a Cast Down. Probably the Siphoner? Yep, that seems correct. So no more card draw from the Siphoner, but we top decked another one, so that's awesome. Let's go ahead and play out... Actually, Scarab God's probably better than Bolas at this point, right? And unfortunately, we can't really attack their Liliana profitably. Yeah, let's go ahead and play out the Scarab God. Play out our Siphoner. And we can bring back the Bolas that's in our graveyard. Let's do that.
I brought back an old friend.
Alright, no attackers. Next turn we have the mana to flip Nicol Bolas. Or we could set a stop on our upkeep to use Scarab God to reanimate something. Could steal their Champion of Wits if they don't use it, or their Siphoner. I think flipping Nicol Bolas is just much more powerful a play here. Yep, there comes the Champion of Wits from their graveyard. Alright, discarded 2 lands.
The dead are loyal.
Yep, taking up Liliana. Okay. Well, yeah, let's resolve the Scarab God first. Another Liliana. I think we're going to scry all those to the bottom. And I would like to draw an extra card. Ooh, Gear Hulk. Interesting. So, let's think a little bit here. Alright, so I think we're going to kill Liliana with Nicol Bolas.
That was cheap. I dare you to try that again.
Alright, so we could hold up Gear Hulk. We could flip Nicol Bolas. Let's tick Liliana up.
Servitude? Think of it as partnership.
We've got a Cast Down. We could flip, get their Lily and activate again. I think that's what we're going to do. Yeah, let's flip this. Let's tick down.
It's incredible.
And grab their Liliana.
Isn't death amusing?
We want to keep that one.
Apologies for the smell. I've been recruiting.
Let's make another zombie.
The dead are loyal.
And I think we are going to play out the Canyon Slough. We definitely want more mana since we're going to start drawing cards with Nicol Bolas if he survives. And the next turn we can Gear Hulk and cast down their Gear Hulk. Alright, contempting our Scarab God. That is unfortunate. I don't really think it puts us in a losing position, though. Kinda wonder why they didn't contempt this Bolas unless they have another contempt. Alright, gotta commit for our Siphoner. Looks like they're attacking Bolas here. Holding back the Gear Hulk. Nope, everything going at Bolas. So let's block, 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 and block. We could also let Bolas take 2 and double block here. I think that's what we're going to do. Yep.
You cannot stop me.
Alright, Bolas got to live. Let's draw 2 cards.
Geniuses
There's our Siphoner. Let's see. Anything that we want Lily to bring back? Not especially at the moment, so let's tick up.
I prefer friends in low places.
So we can play out Scarab God, we can play another Nicol Bolas, we could hold up Torrential Gearhulk. We've got 9 mana. I actually think what we're going to do is play out Siphoner and Gearhulk and kill their Gearhulk. So let's do that. And I should have tapped that mana myself because I'm going to have to spend an energy now, unfortunately. Get a little ahead of myself sometimes. Let's go ahead and cast down their Gearhulk. And pass the turn. Alright, they have a Nicol Bolas now. So let's discard an island. Alright, they could have a counter spell up here. So let's start by casting Scarab God. And we'll see if that resolves. It does. So now we don't have to worry too much about their Nicol Bolas. Let's draw 2 cards.
My knowledge is endless.
There's a negate. We don't have enough mana to activate Scarab God and do that. Let's go ahead and plus Lily.
I will win by any means necessary.
Then we will steal their Gearhulk. And contempt their Nicol Bolas. And then swing for about 1 billion damage. And now we want to set a stop on our upkeep. But opponent has had enough, so no upkeep shenanigans for us. Yeah, we can't keep a single land hand. Let's mulligan this. That looks a bit better. Canyon Slough on top. And that guarantees we can cast Contempt. Sure, we'll keep that too. Alrighty, well, it is Black-Blue Day today, apparently. Would like to get a variety of decks if we could. Another Catacomb. Well, we're actually going to play our Swamp and resolve our Siphoner. We could play the Slough, but I think getting this on board is just better, but it looks like we're about to get Fatal Pushed. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Really, really wanted that girl to stick around. Ooh, Esper, huh? Well, at least that's a bit different. Let's play our other Siphoner first. Looks like that one resolves too. Play out our Slough now. Opponent may think that we're black-red aggro of some sort at this point, since they haven't seen any blue mana from us. Don't know how much that helps us, but at least we are going to get to draw an extra card from Siphoner here. Another champion. And a fetid pool. Alright, well we have to play that out to play our champion. Which we are going to do after combat. Let's attack. Hope we don't get sealed away here. Alright, get in there. Looks like we might be connecting. Awesome. Let's go for Champion of Wits then. And they glimmer in response, okay? That makes me think we may be seeing them untap and then fumigate us. Hopefully that's not the case. Yes, please. Alrighty, so we're going to pitch Fatal Push. And we're also going to pitch our second Vraska's Contempt. We do want to make our land drops. There's land number 5. Alright, contempting our Champion of Wits, that's fine. Better than Fumigate, I think. Not enough energy this time. There's an Essence Scatter. That could be good. I think, though, that we want to Champion of Wits. So let's do that. Alright, cycling Illumination. Yes, please. Nicol Bolas seems good to me. So let's discard the Swamp and the Essence Scatter. We'll play out our Fetid Pools and go attacking. Alright, nothing on their turn. Interesting. That could mean a Settle the Wreckage. Draw for turn. Another Champion of Wits, huh? Well, let's go to combat. And if they want to settle us, I think that's fine. That will take up enough of our mana, of their mana rather, that we can Nicol Bolas afterwards. Alright, no Settle the Wreckage. Very interesting. I don't know what's going on with the opponent here. Maybe they're on approach and they have a land plus approach for next turn. Let's play our Catacomb and try to resolve Nicol Bolas. Alright, well there's a Supreme Will. They're 7 mana, so they have approach mana, but do not cast it. Another Essence Scatter. Alright, let's go to combat. Looks like we're hitting again. Alright, I mean, that's good for us, that's for sure. I suppose we try to resolve Liliana, though that will make it to where we can't hold up Essence Scatter. Maybe we just Champion of Wits here. Yeah, let's try for Champion of Wits. That will allow us to hold up Essence Scatter in case there's a Gearhulk forthcoming. Well, there's a Syncopate for 4. We can't pay that. So bye-bye to Champion. Alright, opponent continues to make land drops. And not really do a whole lot. Yep, let's draw an extra card. Draw for turn. Doomfall. That may help us to better understand... no, not that land. Misclick there. Exactly what's going on here. If it resolves. Alright, they do have 2 Gearhulks, so let's take one of those bad boys. We know we absolutely want to hold up Essence Scatter for that. Now let's play out our Fetid Pools. More mana seems more better. And attack. Alright, choose not to Gearhulk still. No. Kind of funny that they would do that there. I mean, they probably were planning to Glimmer, but they could have gotten or attempted to get in a block. Got removal for our Siphoner. I mean, you could use If Near Deadlands if you want to. Yep, that's probably smart. Then we will go to attacks. And at this point, I think we're going to attempt for Liliana. She resolves. So let's bring back
You will
Nicol
watch me
Bolas.
as I back
Get rid
from
of
the
that last
dead.
card in our opponent's hand. And they're going to have to draw very well for this not to be just game over. Okay, so Esper Control of some sort. I think we want our general control cards here. I think we do want all the duresses. We're going to take out a lot of our removal against this deck. The pushes and the cast downs. I think we're going to take out a Champion of Wits, take out a Nicol Bolas. And actually, we may want to take out a Vraska's Contempt. Of course, the Scarab God isn't quite as good, I guess, since they're not really putting a lot of stuff into their own graveyard. I can see arguments, though. Scarab God can bring back our and their Gear Hulks. Yeah, I think we're going to go down to 3 Vraska's Contempts. Try to counterspell their stuff. Or just get out ahead of them, put them on the back foot. Right, this is not actually horrible versus a controlling deck. We get to make our land drops and such. Would love to have a Siphoner or a Bloodfast, but I think we're going to keep this. Right, leading with a swamp, we will lead... do we want to cycle Fetid Pools? We just might. Yeah, let's lead off with Swamp. And we may end up cycling the Fetid Pools with as many lands as we have here. Alright, land to nothing. We could duress this turn. Yeah, let's try that. Okay, they negate our duress. Let's play out an island then. Hitting all their land drops. They have no white mana yet. Let's go for Doomfall. Okay, so removal, Scarab God, and Gear Hulk. And they have no more lands. Let's take away their Scarab God. Right, they hit a land. There's a Contempt. Let's start by cycling. Ooh, no. There we go. Siphoner is great. Problematic, though, that they get to kill it. I think we still do it. Have to deal with that stuff in their hand sometime. Yep, getting pushed. What would be awesome is if they just never draw another land, but there's land number 5, one more, and they've got Gear Hulk. But we did draw Essence Scatter, so that's good for us. Search for Azcanta. Well, we don't have a card to deal with that yet. And really, now that it's resolved, there's only one card in the deck that can deal with it, and that's Commit. So we may end up getting buried here. They have 2 cards, so they're a ways away from flipping it. There's Liliana, which should resolve unless that is a counter spell. So let's do that and attempt her. Alright, she resolves. Don't really think we want to bring back Siphoner at this point, so let's just start ticking her up. And she's probably going to get Contempted, so maybe I should have brought back Siphoner.
Death is ever present.
See, milled a Duress and a Doomfall. They are at 3 cards in their graveyard. Chose not to mill. Alright, made their land drop, so now they have Gear Hulk mana. We're going to need to hold up this Essence Scatter. Well, never mind. Get to use it immediately. There's another Liliana. We'll go ahead and play her, I suppose, since they're tapped out. Hold up blue to bluff another scatter. And I think
Good news, everyone.
that
I've
we will
arrived.
tick up again here.
Another minion never hurts.
See, we still have not milled anything really worth bringing back. You know, Gear Hulk, Nicol Bolas, Scarab God, something along those lines. Alright, finally hit a permanent white source there. 4 cards in their graveyard. There's a Scarab God. Let's go to combat first. Alright, getting in there. Let's try to cast this Scarab God. Tap these. Alright, he resolves. So I suppose we will tick up Liliana then.
I am in control.
Was holding her in case he got counterspelled. Then we could tick her down and get him into play anyway. Against anything short of a Syncopate. Alright, sack their Memorial to Genius, draw a couple of cards. Now 6 cards in their graveyard. They can flip this next turn. See, they have a Gear Hulk in their yard. We have Essence Scatters. We've not hit a Jace's Defeat or a Negate yet. There's a Lyra, which is not too big a deal. Get to drain our opponent for 3 and scry 3. Commit is okay. I would like to hit another land to play this turn, so let's leave commit under the swamp. Draw for turn. Alrighty. So we have enough mana to Contempt and activate Scarab God, so I think that's what we're going to do. Go ahead and attempt to get rid of Lyra. There's a negate. That is fine. So now I think we're going to steal their Gear Hulk. Opponent's graveyard, please. And then do it again. Good deal. Let's go ahead and tick up Liliana.
Oh, look what I found.
And go attacking. Down to 2. So if Scarab God and the zombies survive, they will die on our upkeep. Still don't really have anything worth ticking Liliana down for, I don't think. They got to flip their Azcanta. Activating the Azcanta, so digging for an answer. Got a Duress, that's not going to do it. Sure. And that's the game. Alright, got 4 wins now. We will try to go for the 5th one, but we earned a pack, so let's pop that. Looks like we got an Amulet of Safekeeping. Alright. Not the most exciting thing, but sure. Alright, let's go for the 5-0. Okay. This is eminently keepable, so let's keep it. We'll go Fetid Pools into Ether Hub, play Glint Sleeve Siphoner. Oh dear. If this is the mono green deck, or the green splash black deck, we're in trouble. This is a very bad matchup for us. Okay, it's Constrictor, which may be a bit better. I have not played against Constrictor yet. So at this point, we're probably better off killing this instead of getting our Siphoner down. So let's do that. We'll play out the Summit. Another Elf. Well, not as scary as a Constrictor. Especially if they had the Constrictor out when Jade Light Ranger hit. Alright, looks like they milled the other Ranger. Got a Forest. Alright, well, let's go ahead and play out Siphoner. Oh, no. Tap for black, please. Right. Now we see why they milled the other Ranger. They had a third one in hand. There's a Constrictor. Milling that. Siphoner. Milling that. So, are we in bad enough shape that we're willing to trade this Siphoner for that Jade Light Ranger? Maybe? But not yet. We'll take a hit. Yes, please. Well, there's a Gear Hulk. We just need to get to the Gear Hulk. Right, Sulfur Falls. Well, for sure, let's play out Nicol Bolas here. Get rid of one of those last two cards in their hand. Another land. Well, we are definitely not attacking. Right, yet another land. They may be getting flooded a little bit. Right, we'll take 4 here. No energy. Let's draw. Scarab God's great. Let's play that. Oh, nope. And then pass the turn. Looks like everything's coming. Except for one elf. So, I don't know if that oops is meant to fool us or what. But we'll block here. We'll block here. And we'll block here. I'm going to set a stop on our upkeep too. Alright, that felt okay. Fatal Push, that's fine as well. Let's go ahead and get it back. And that's the game. Alrighty, well, that did not feel as bad as the mono green decks did, but then again, that could just be a fluke. So, we don't want Bloodfast, we don't want Siphoners, for sure. We do want our Abrades, and we do want Yahini's Expertise. So the question is, do we want the third Doomfall? Because it is a removal spell of sorts. And I think we probably do. So, again, we're going to shave on one Nicol Bolas and bring in the last Doomfall, which may or may not be correct, but we're going to try it. Alright, this hand seems fine. We can start playing removal on turn 2, which is what we want to do. Turn 1 even better if we can, start off with a Fatal Push. Ether Hub, that's fine. Play out our Fetid Pools. Right, Jade Light Ranger for the opponent again. We have not seen a Steel Leaf champion from them yet. They kept the Walking Ballista on top. Abrade's a good draw. Let's go ahead and cast out this Jade Light Ranger while they're tapped out so that we don't run into a Blossoming defense. Song of Frailties. That's a little scary. There's the Ballista. Let's see. So next turn, stuff's going to get counters. So let's play out our Fetid Pools. Let's go ahead and kill this Ballista. Yeah, gotta tap our hub for red. Sitting there just staring at the screen like, why is this not casting? Gotta tap the Ether hub for red, you dum-dum. Alright, gonna get shot for 1, that's fine. They are down to 2 cards in hand, so if they don't flood the board with a bunch of creatures, I don't think the Song of Frailties is going to do a lot. Adventurous Impulse, sure. Another Ballista. And there it is. Alright, getting hit by an elf. So we can contempt this Ballista. We won't gain the life because they'll just shoot us with it. We could play Nicol Bolas. I think getting the Ballista off the board is more important because Frailties is going to put another counter on it next turn. Plus, it gives us an opportunity to draw a permanent red source so that we don't have to spend our last energy to play out Nicol Bolas. So, yeah, let's do that. Yep. Going to 17. And now the pump happens. So taking 2. And nothing else. Interesting. Actually, let's Doomfall their hand. I want to know what scary something they're holding. Or actually, no, let's Doomfall and get rid of that elf to make them further away from playing whatever scary thing's in their hand. Yeah, that seems good. They seem to be mana starved. Let's make it even worse for them. Alright, they hit a land. That's fine. Let's go ahead and play Nicol Bolas now. Tired of waiting for our red mana to come to us. Right, discarded a Siphoner, so maybe it's just that they didn't have black sources. That would make some sense. Well, they got 5 mana now. There's a Gearhulk. Okay, that makes some sense. If we could draw an untapped red source, that would be awesome. We didn't. So I guess we're obligated to Doomfall that Gearhulk. Would love it if we had had an untapped red source. Then we could have just abraded it and ripped that last card out of their hand, as long as it's not a land. So now we're the ones who are having mana issues. Elf? I'm not worried about the elf. Oh, Chupacabra's unfortunate. At least it wasn't a second Gearhulk, right? Oh, he hit 5. Let's start off with Champion of Wits, though. Maybe we can hit a red source. We did? Okay. I guess we are going to discard the Abrade and a Gearhulk. Then we'll play out our Canyon Slew. And the reason I wanted to hold on to the lands is to make sure we get to Gear Hulk mana. Can also play another Nicol Bolas. Alright, no attacks from the opponent. So that makes me want to play out Nicol Bolas and get that last card out of their hand. So let's do that. Alright, it was a fatal push. So let's go attacking. We'll have mana next turn to Eternalize Champion if they block and kill it, which they didn't. No blockers. Don't want to get our Nicol Bolas fatal pushed again. So let's go to combat. Alright, down to 8. Let's try to flip the big guy. Alright, that worked. So...
Why be a beast when I can be a god?
let's go ahead and reanimate our own Gear Hulk. Oh. And opponent has had enough. No Gear Hulk reanimation for us. But we did manage, come on, load, to pull off the 5-0. Awesome. Rupture Spire. You're not very good in Constructed. At least non-100 card formats. Commander and such, you're fine. Alrighty, let's see what we get. Harsh Mentor, Vona, and Golden Guardian. Alright, 2,000 gold's much more important to me. And as for the deck list, I really like this version of Bolas Midrange, the ones that are more heavy on the black side, that are kind of blue-black midrange, splashing for Bolas and then maybe a couple of other red cards. They seem to play out the best, at least to me. As I said before, there are other versions of the deck, especially popular are the ones that go more energy focused, to have Whirler Virtuosos in the deck too. I've played those and I haven't really been super impressed with the Virtuosos. I've been much more happy with this particular build, or builds that are closer to this. So, as always, there will be a link to the deck list in the description if you would like to check it out for yourself. But for now, thank you so much for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, let me know in the comments, and by leaving a like below, it really does help tremendously. And of course, subscribe if you'd like to see more in the future. I have been Tevaron, and until next time, friends, be excellent to each other.